Welcome to Amy Learns to Cook. I'm Eric, and on today's show, I got this T-bone steak at a really nice price the other day, and I just couldn't pass it up. In fact, I got two of them. So I'm going to cook this in the air fryer because it does a wonderful job and it's quick, and I'm lazy, and I just got home from work, and I really don't want to bust out the cast iron pan and do all kinds of complex stuff, right? We just want food, tasty, and as fast as possible. So join me as I whip this guy up in the QVC Cooks Essentials air fryer. I checked my mail and I saw this ad in the mail, right? They got a picture of a steak, $5.99 a pound, and I thought, wow, that's neat because it's a T-bone. A lot of times T-bones go for, I don't know, maybe 10 bucks a pound. If they're really fabulous, obviously they can go for a lot more. But at my supermarket, this was about half off. So I was like, cool. And then I thought, wow, maybe I'll buy two. Because I don't really buy a lot of steaks, believe it or not. And T-bones are actually kind of cool steaks. I mean, I love ribeyes and everything. Ribeyes are tender, they have some fat. If it's thin, you can make sandwiches. If it's thicker, it's just like any other steak. Pair it up with a potato or something, salad, whatever makes you happy, and it's great. T-bones, you can do the same thing. The problem is, upon closer inspection, we'll see what I got here. This is the bone right here, a little bit of a bone here, and bone there, right? So it is sort of in the shape of a T, which is normal. Normally, the larger side, which would be this side, is going to be New York strip. The smaller side is going to be tenderloin. And it's a little bit different if you get a porterhouse. If you get a porterhouse, then you're going to get a lot more on the tenderloin. You know, and they come in different sizes, different thicknesses, of course. The tenderloin, of course, you know, is going to melt in your mouth. The New York strip is still a highly desirable cut and everything. So for a loin steak, this is great, right? And that's why they're not cheap. But these guys were selling at $5.99 a pound, so something was wrong, and I just wasn't paying attention. But it doesn't really matter to me, because I'm not too picky, because it was only $5.99. Now, if I paid a lot more for it, maybe I'd be upset. The fact that I didn't get hardly any tenderloin here really irritates me. But once again, maybe that's why they had it on sale. So who knows? But the rest of the steak is good. When it comes to something like a T-bone, it's going to be a flavorful meat, and it's obviously tender compared to a lot of the other parts of the cow, which obviously can be more flavorful, but they're far tougher. So to cook something like this, you want to cook it fast and you want a dry heat. So that's why it's great for grilling or frying, or maybe if you got a thicker cut of meat, maybe you can put it in the oven and then sear it really quick. Or other people will sear it first and then cook in the oven. But anyways, you're not going to sit and braise it. You're not going to sit and slow cook it forever. You could sous vide it. In fact, something this small is really tough to get it to the perfect temperature. Like say you want medium rare, maybe somewhere around 130 degrees. When this thing is under an inch thick, that gives you like this much pink area. It's really hard to get that. Sous vide allows you to pinpoint what you want. But that can also take an hour or two, and who's got that, especially on a weeknight, right? I want this bad boy done in 10 minutes. So that's why I'm going to air fry it. So we're going to get this guy going, and it's going to be wonderful. All right, we're going to preheat this bad boy for a few minutes. So let's hit the power button. Let's get him up to 400. And ultimately, we're only going to cook him for maybe 10 minutes plus a minute or two warm up, but 20 minutes is more than enough. Then we'll hit the low power. So it'll come up to temperature, and then we'll just let it go like that, and then we'll throw the steak in there. All right, this thing's had a chance to warm up a little bit. We're gonna go ahead and throw our steak in there. What I've already done is I've already have salted. You can see how juicy this guy is, especially in the middle right there. I put some sea salt on there after I took this out of the fridge. In fact, what I usually recommend with steak is when you take it out of the fridge, let it come to room temperature or as close to room temperature as you can. So right there, we just put some pepper on it. We're going to go ahead and flip them over. The beautiful part is, if by coming up to temperature, room temperature, it helps it evenly cook better, because otherwise maybe the outside cooks way before the inside does. All right, this cracked pepper, or some cracked salt, looks like it's pretty good. I just want to liberally season with that. And once again, we're going to hit with some more pepper here. Not worried about that too much. Because this is such a flavorful and juicy piece of meat, got that in there, and it's going there. I don't want to hit it with a bunch of other seasonings. It is possible. Of course, you can hit it with onion or garlic powder if you want. If you have a favorite barbecue rub or steak seasoning, by all means use those. But some cuts of meat, I like to just keep it simple. Salt and pepper, and that's all it needs. The sooner you hit it with salt, the better. Ideally, when you salt meat, a lot of times you'll see the juices come out, and then if you give it time, the juices will go back in. It works a little bit like how brining works when we do with poultry and lean cuts of meat like pork chops, where you want it to be juicy and all that good stuff. This meat's already tender, so I'm not brining it to try to make it tender. It's already tender. But I don't want to put salt on there, have the juices come out, throw it into a hot oven, or in this case an air fryer, and all of a sudden those juices drip or get evaporated out. You kind of want it to do what it's got to do. The one side it did. This side will probably be okay. It's not going to hurt us, but the more time you get it for the salt to sit, the better. You can do it a couple of hours in advance. You can do it overnight if you want. It's up to you. But like I said, this is down and dirty. It'll probably be ready in maybe 10 minutes or so, and then it's chomping time. All right, we've been cooking this guy for about 8 or 9 minutes now, and it's looking pretty good to me. If it wasn't for the fact that we have a bone in there, it might have taken a few minutes less. I just want to make sure the meat has a chance to cook close to the bone, because the bone will mess with your attempts. So let's get this on a plate. Now for the fun part, right? You get to eat. Just put a little pepper on my potato there. All right, so this guy looks like he did a pretty good job. He came out, nice and brown and stuff. He definitely doesn't have some crust, doesn't have grill marks, a lot of stuff that you would get if you either did it in a hot pan or if you did it on an actual grill. But for an air fryer to turn it from red piece of meat to decently brown, juicy, I'm going to give it 2 thumbs up just based on that. It's a good cut of meat here. This is USDA choice, so it's not like they gave me dog food, okay? So I don't want you to think that's what happened here. So let's go ahead and cut that there. And cut through it might be helpful. So flavorful, got a little bit of salt and pepper. A lot of steak flavor coming through. I mean, it's steak, of course, but different meat has different flavor.
Is it medium?
So, well, like I said, I generally like medium rare, and that really to me applies to thicker cuts of meat. When it's kind of thin like this, it's going to be kind of hard. And like I said, I cooked it a little longer because I want the meat near the bone to be done. I don't want it to be like bleeding and stuff. And believe me, that would happen. So I'm thinking these parts here are cooked a little more than what I want. But because it is a tender cut, it's still going to be okay. Had this been something like chuck sliced into steaks and then you try to cook it, good luck, because those you don't do. But other cuts of meat that are going to be tough, or at least a little more tougher. So you can see from this shot here that I did overcook it. Like I said, for me, that's not a big deal because the meat is still tender. Gotta cut this fat here. And I mean, it's flavorful, it's still juicy. I didn't turn it into cardboard. Now, for those people who do like well done meat, okay, fine. For those people that want it on the verge of still mooing, yeah, I'm sorry, I let you guys down. Depending upon your cut of meat and how well you want it done, and if you have, a temperature probe, we have a thermopin here. but any other instant read thermometer. Cook it for, 3 or 4 minutes. Probe it, see how it's going. The bone is what's partially messing up my cooking here, and I'm concerned that this is going to be bloody and messy unless I do cook this guy a little bit too high. But for this particular cut, I'm not worried about that. Had this been a different hunk of meat, then yeah, this probably would have been pretty bad. But the bottom line is, boneless meats are a little easier to cook because you don't have to worry about the range from one side to the other. So let's go ahead and cut here to see how this came out here. So you can see right there that it's pink, and I was expecting that. One of the concerns with Amy is sometimes when I want my meat to be medium rare, my idea of medium rare and hers is a little different. There's pink and different shades of pink, different amounts of pink, a little bit of gray meat, all that good stuff. It's what makes up eating meat, right? And sometimes you get juices. We know with chicken, you want to cook it till the juices run clear. There is no medium rare with chicken. You got to cook it till it's food safe. Beef, obviously depending upon your health conditions, you may need it cooked well done, of course. But a lot of people cook it to a certain tenderness. This meat is tender to start with, so it takes a little bit to beat it up. But still, I don't want to see red juices, flowing through here. I do want it to be pink. So this is pink. This stuff is going to be in the middle of the pink, and then the outer stuff is a little more done. But overall, I think the air fryer did a decent job because it didn't take that long. And anytime you cook, you need to be familiar with your equipment and the piece of food you're cooking, whether it's meat or baked goods or something else. So if you have an air fryer and you don't feel like busting out a pan and having stuff splatter all over the place, then maybe this is a good option for you. Throw it in here and it's pretty easy. Just keep an eye on it. The potato, of course, we'll take a quick look at that, right? Potato, good too. So I definitely gives a thumbs up. If you like this video, please give us a comment and a like and subscribe. And visit our website at www.amylearnstocook.com. And we're on Twitter and Pinterest at Amy Learns to Cook. And we're on Instagram at Cookin' with Amy. Yum, yum. You give Amy a little bit of power, like the director and the camera woman position, and she just goes hog wild with it. You make her the talent, then I get to be the one calling the shots. Ooh. I got this in the mail the other day. It's got a picture of a steak, and it's on sale for $5.99. It's a T-bone. And I thought, wow, that's a pretty good price. Oh, try it again. I was at... Try it again.